Hello guys, welcome to our new tutorial on movement of stock from one store to the other with JiPOS ERP. Stay tuned as we go through this particular simple process in the system. So once you log into the system, and of course given the right, not anyone can move stock from one store to the other. We have got this particular section in the sidebar called products into bracket inventory. We move to stocks, that is the link, which will open for me this particular interface. At the top section, we have got this particular button on the top right, written move stock. So I'll click on that particular button to open this particular page. So just before we do any transaction here, just to understand a little bit of the background, JiPOS is a multi-store system. And of course, operating a multi-store system will require you at one point to move items or inventory items from one store to the other. And for that to happen, we give you this particular section or this particular window to initiate something called a direct transfer of item from store 1 to store 2. Now, before that happens, have in mind that for a successful movement of item stock from one store to the other, this particular item must be predefined or it must be associated with this particular two stores or any other store. And for you to associate an item with a given store, that is well explained in our tutorial on item redistribution and registration. So if you find that in the link below, you will see how to associate a given item with a given store without doing a redistribution or redistributing this particular item from one store to the other or associating it, in other words, registering it to that particular store. Then a movement of item from one store to the other will automatically fail, and the system, of course, will display you that particular error. Now, I want to give an illustration here, and I want to use soda 300 ml. So before I do any transfer, I'll check availability, of course, in this particular right section of this particular page. I'll select a domain store and find out if my soda is available here. I can see soda crate 300 ml. And I have 40 of this particular soda crate 300 ml. Correct. I want to search for garden store and select soda crate 300 ml. And you can see I have 0 of this particular soda crate 300 ml in my garden store. So I want to move 10 bottles of this particular soda crate 300 ml, or 10 crates rather, of this particular soda crate 300 ml from a Dido store to the garden store. To do that, I'll come to the form in the middle of this particular page, select from which store, I'll say a Dido store, to which store, I'll say to the garden store. Which item? Soda 300 ml crate. How many of these? I want to move 10 of that. And then I just do a direct movement. That is successful. So we have this success message, which shows that that particular transaction is complete. Now, if I quickly check my garden store and type the soda 300 ml crate, you'll see the 10 quantities have been moved there. If I go back to a Dido store and search for the soda 300 crate, I'll see the balance is 30. Now, what happens if you want to move more than what you have in the store? The system rejects that. And of course, you can always try that from a Dido store to the garden store and soda 300 ml. And I want to move 50 of these. And I click move. So this will fail. And as you can see, this has failed because you do not have enough stock to initiate this particular transfer. So the system will always communicate using this particular notifications. And even if I had to move maybe a particular item from this particular store, let me say this particular yellow rice KK. Maybe move 5 of that into this particular store and see what happens. It's the same thing. I don't have enough stock to do or initiate that particular transfer. If you're trying to do a transfer where the item is not redistributed, it will also let you know that that is the error and you need to do a redistribution first before moving any stock or direct movement of stock from one store to the other. So that is the whole process, and thank you for staying tuned. Remember, this is a direct way of moving items from one store to the other. We have also a separate way or a different way of doing so called requisition, whereby people from store one they have to initiate a requisition, and people from store Y will have to approve that requisition and movement done appropriately. So this is a direct way, and stay tuned for our next video. Thank you.